Welcome to this, the new Hyundai Ioniq 5. Fully electric car, available from Hyundai, available with two battery sizes, available with both rear-wheel drive and all-wheel drive. This is the larger battery of the two, it's a 73 kilowatt hour battery with rear-wheel drive, and this is in premium spec. We're going to take a look around the vehicle and show you what's different. One of the first things that grabs you about this car when you first look at it is the styling. I mean, Hyundai's done a fantastic job here to make it look both retro and futuristic at the same time. It looks a little bit like a Hyundai Pony from 1986.
The Pony by Hyundai. Take a pony for a ride.
Has been designed by somebody who was involved with the film Tron.
Then there was Tron.
We've got these pixel LED headlamps. They're standard on all of the range. And I think they look fantastic and really give a great view of the road ahead during the night time as well. This silver moustache that we've got going across the front has got lights in also, so that illuminates at night also. This black part here, panel, has got in radar sensors used for the self-driving features. Down here we've got some active air flaps. These open up when the car needs extra cooling for the battery when it's rapid charging. Moving down the side of the vehicle, we've got these huge 19-inch wheels, just to give you an idea of how big this car actually is, because I think on photos it looks like it should be quite a compact car, but this is on 235, 55, 19 tyres. These are the same sort of tyres you find on something like a Hyundai Santa Fe or another SUV. Moving along the vehicle, we've got these pop-out door handles. They automatically pop out and retract when you unlock or lock the car. Moving around the rear of the Ioniq 5, we see these, again, pixel LEDs, about 100 different LEDs across the back here, which make out the indicators, the reversing lights, the brake lights, etc. And I think that looks fantastic, and Ioniq 5 written there very clearly. We've got cameras hidden around the car, and we've also got under here, and then an electronic boot release as well. So in the boot of the Ioniq 5, there's actually 540 litres of boot space, which is massive for any car, but again, it's up there with the biggest SUVs. Under this retractable load shelf, we've got a load area that reaches about a metre to the back seats, and then it's over a metre wide as well. So it's a really nice square opening that you can get plenty of luggage in, get all your shopping in. There's also underneath here additional storage for things like your charging cables and so on, or putting wet clothes out of the way if you've been on a walk. So it's been thought of really, really well, and the premium spec and Ultimate have electronic boot closing and opening. One of the good things about an electric car is that you don't have the engine in a normal place. This is rear-wheel drive, this car, which means that up front we've got quite a bit of extra space. Looks like it might be an engine bay, but actually under this plastic cover we've got another boot. We've got a front trunk, so instead we can put charging cables, whatever else you might want, under that panel there, and then they're not in the boot rattling around or getting in your way. If it's the sort of thing that you're going to use occasionally, but you need to use it without turfing everything else out of the boot, it's a perfect solution. So one of the features that Hyundai has allowed you to do with this car is it gives you this adapter. You have to pay up, it's an optional extra, it's £365 currently. But it does, this plugs into your charging socket here, and then under here we've got a 3-pin plug socket, so you can run anything off this up to 16 amps. So if you're a caravan owner and you're going away on holiday, not only can you tow the caravan with this because it's got a towing capacity of 1.6 tonnes, but you can also plug your caravan in and run all of your electrical stuff from the car. Now, to give you an idea of how much battery capacity this car has, the average house uses about 10 to 12 kilowatt hours of electric every day. This battery, when it's fully charged, is 72 kilowatt hours, so you can run it for sort of 6 days, a full house. So a caravan is going to last ages just running off the charged battery that's in this car. It means you can go off-grid camping wherever you want. Inside the Ioniq 5, it's a very comfortable place to be. The design of the car is such that there's a 3-metre wheelbase. That's bigger than on a Range Rover Sport, and that gives you plenty of legroom, both in the front and rear. It also gives you a really flat floor because the batteries are mounted very low down under the vehicle body. So we've got acres of space under here, plenty of room around here to put bottles and so on, cup holders, we've got wireless charging down here, we've got storage inside the armrest, we can move the armrest out of the way, put massive bottles there if we wish to. Can fit two big bottles in the front door pockets as well. So plenty of storage around the car, and also, rather than a glove box, we've got a glove drawer. It's like a filing cabinet. So they've used every bit of space they can. When you first sit inside the car, you see these two huge 12-inch displays out front here. So one of them can display, in this case we've got Android Auto on there and your sat nav and things like that, and the other one is your driver's display, showing the speed and battery capacity, efficiency, etc. It wraps around, and it's a very clear, good quality screen, you can see. Underneath this we've got these virtual buttons, so these hide when you turn the car off. These give you access to the climate control, and then above that we've got physical buttons for things like parking cameras, reversing sensors, and swapping between the inputs on the stereo, etc. You start the car by pressing this big EV start-stop button here. One of the things I like actually about the Ioniq 5 is that a lot of these physical buttons have been done in a sort of brushed silver finish, not in piano black gloss, which tends to show all the fingerprints. So actually these look great, and they'll stand up to the test of time for actual usage as well. On the steering wheel here we've got a number of buttons. We've also got these two flappy paddles. So these paddles allow you to adjust the amount of regenerative braking that you get when you're driving along. So if you're on a country road, you might want to perhaps knock it to level 3 as you're coming down a steep hill. That will charge the batteries for you as you're driving, and it also slows you down, saves you wearing out the brake pads. When you're on a motorway, you might not want to knock it to 1 or 0. In 0, the car basically freewheels if you take your foot off the accelerator. If you use this one though and you pull it all the way across to the left, it goes to level 3, and then it goes to the iPedal. So iPedal is similar to Nissan's ePedal. It basically means that you can do one pedal driving. So you take your foot off the accelerator as you drive, and that then applies the brakes and slows you to a complete stop. We've got something a bit different on here. We've got this stalk down here, which is used for choosing your drive mode. So forwards, reverse. You twist it forwards for drive, you twist it backwards for reverse, and the reversing camera will come on there. Or you press the end of the stalk to park. By having it down here, it does mean that for something that really only has forwards, backwards, stop on it, it frees up an awful lot of room that would otherwise be taken up by gear levers if you had a conventional automatic gear lever. We've got this button here, it says drive mode on it. If we press that, that changes between eco, normal and sport, or if you hold it down it moves to a snow mode. I tend to be driving an eco, although it's still got plenty of performance. We've also of course got buttons for the cruise control and for the hands-free and so on here as well. We've got auto lights and auto wipers, electric one up one down windows front and rear, just electric adjustable mirrors, electric handbrake, so it's very well appointed. We've also got 5 USB sockets. We've got a USB down here, we've got 2 here, and we've got 2 for the rear passengers at the back as well. So you won't be fighting over the use of those if you've got kids with electrical devices on long journeys. In the rear of the Ioniq 5 you can really get an appreciation of just how long the wheelbase is on this vehicle and how much legroom it's given you. So what we've got here is we've got the seat set for me. I'm 5'11". I've got 6 inches or more of legroom, plenty of room, and my feet can tuck underneath as well. And even in the centre seat, because it's a flat floor, plenty of headroom, decent leg room, so you can fit 3 adults across the back with no issues whatsoever. This bench is a 60-40 rear split, but that isn't just for folding the backs down, although obviously you can do that as well, and they do fold very flat. What we can also do is you can recline the seats slightly. You can also slide them forwards and backwards, so you can make that big boot even bigger if you want to, if you're carrying a big load and less passengers. You can fold those seats and have it there, or you can recline the seats back even further so you can have a bit of a nap. How good's that? So to give this car a proper test, what we decided to do is drive it up the motorway to Gretna Green services. There's some rapid chargers there. We can test the rapid charging capability of the vehicle. And then we're going to drive it back through the Cumbrian countryside, through the Lake District, and take it on country roads and see how it performs in that scenario as well. The Ioniq 5 has got a suite of self-driving capability similar to you'd find in the Kona and the Ioniq. So we've got Speed is just in cruise control, so that follows the car in front, slows down, speeds up according to their speed. So I've set this to 70 at the moment. There's quite heavy traffic here at this section of the M6 near Lancaster, and so we're currently doing 63, 64 miles an hour. If the car in front speeds up, it'll automatically speed up for me and slow down accordingly. It's also able to steer and keep me within the lane, so I can just hold the steering wheel very, very lightly. As long as it feels an input from me, there's a bit of weight there, then it's going to continue to steer and make sure that we stay within our lane. So that really helps as well when it's quite a lot going on the road and you want to make sure that it's taking some of the effort off the driver so that they can concentrate on other things like trying to talk on a video like this. The display here is very clear. We've got the display shuffles around, sort of showing you what the radar's picking up, so you can see these vehicles as sort of looks like bars of soap moving around on the display as the cars move past us and go past us and the car in front, etc. So you've got a real feeling for what the car is aware of and how it's able to respond to those scenarios. This car's also got a way of changing lane and assisting you with that as well. So if you, again using its radar, if you indicate to change lane, it will check that it's clear and then it will automatically steer you into that lane once it's made sure that it's a clear manoeuvre. If you want to do it, you can just turn the steering wheel obviously and it'll override that anyway, but it's a way of again just assisting you, particularly if there was something in your blind spot. Speaking of blind spots, we've got blind spot monitoring both sides, so a little exclamation mark comes up in the mirror when we've got somebody overtaking us or when we're overtaking somebody else. This is the premium model. Now on the Ultimate edition, on the Ultimate model it actually has cameras which display on the dashboard here and show you the blind spot that you're missing out on. So that's a really nice feature actually if you want to trade up and get the higher specification. But overall, these seats are very, very comfortable. There's a cloth finish in this. We've got 6-way electric adjustment on the driver's seat. Actually, no, we've got a lot more movement than I thought actually. We've got up, down, we've got the bolster up and down, we've got the seat back, forward and backwards, and we've also got the lumbar support in and out is all electric as well. So actually we've got quite a lot of electric movement on the driver's seat. So that's easy to get a really nice, comfortable position for you. The steering wheel moves in and out, up and down, again, nice and comfy, easy to get a good ergonomic position for everyone. And there's tons of legroom in this car and it's just a really comfortable place to sit. So we're here at Gretna Green at the Ionity charge station. The reason we've come here to Scotland is because we wanted to test the rapid charge capability of the new Ioniq 5. So the Ioniq 5 can charge at up to 220 kilowatts. Now, unfortunately, our journey from Blackpool to Gretna was only using around sort of 45% of the battery, so it's not optimum to test the rapid charge capabilities, but still we're seeing around 115 kilowatts peak at this point, and over 60% charge, it's showing still pulling 110 kilowatts, which is great. So from 50% to 80%, it was reporting that it was only going to take 15 minutes to do that charging. And indeed, on one of these high power chargers, Hyundai themselves say that to go from 10% to 80% under optimal conditions would take around 18 to 20 minutes. So it really can be a very, very quick short stop that you're doing on the motorway with plenty of driving in between. So one of the useful things under this little charge flap here, we can see we've got these lights that show how fully charged the battery is. So at the moment, it's working on charging the third quarter of the battery. When it gets to 75%, then that'll go solid and it'll start lighting up the rest of it as well. So it just gives you a bit of a ready reckoner as you're charging as to how fully charged you are without having to look at that display or the display in the front of the car. So we've got to 80%. It's only taken just over 13 minutes to get from around 50% to 80% charge. And it's still actually pulling 110 kilowatts according to the dashboard on the vehicle. So it's doing really, really well. In fact, it's actually beating a lot of other cars for what they get peak rate, even though it's almost full. It's saying it'll take another 25-26 minutes to get to full from here. We don't need a full charge, so I'm just going to stop this now. We're going to do a bit of a drive back through the lakes and see how it does on A and B roads and see what the drive's like on that. So by the time we got to Gretna Green, we'd done 115 miles and the battery had 54% remaining. So I guess that means if you sort of multiply it out, you'd think, well, okay, well, if I double that, let's say 230 miles with sort of 10% left. So, you know, theoretically maybe 250 miles, but you want to have a little bit left in the tank. So we'll say 230 miles comfortably on the motorway at 70 on cruise control with a bit of traffic that we had around Lancaster. What we're going to do on the way back, we're going to take it off the motorway. We're going to see what range we get when we're driving on A and B roads. So we're going to go down through the North Lakes and just see how it performs there. But overall, I mean, on the motorway, a very comfortable cruiser, very smooth, very easy to drive. Good levels of refinement inside the cabin. It's very quiet in here, and overall, yeah, I think it, you know, very, very comfortable. We'll see what it's like on the twisty stuff and see if it still performs well there. So this is the rear-wheel drive version, and despite not having all-wheel drive, the traction, the control it has on the road is brilliant. So it feels really planted. I think that's down thanks to the weight of the battery being so low down and the long wheelbase. And it means that on twisty little country roads like we find here in the Lake District, it's an absolute hoot to drive. You can turn it in from eco mode up into sport mode, and gives you a burst of acceleration. 0 to 60 is around 5 seconds, I think it is. So really good performance on this model, and overall that means that it makes it an awful lot of fun. Now, when you're driving like that sort of spirited driving, the range is going to take a bit of a hit, but you're still going to see well over 200 miles range. And at the moment, we're stuck here behind some tourists in the Lake District. We're looking that we could do perhaps more close to the sort of 300 miles range that's quoted. So overall, this car offers an awful lot to the driver, particularly people who enjoy driving on twisty little country roads, but it's also equally at home, sat at 70 miles an hour on cruise control on the motorway, so really is a jack of all trades.